Hello everybody and welcome to the Chat Trap. My next guest, Mr. Kalpak Bhandari, is the principal architect at VCast Studio in Pune. He is a mountaineer, a scuba diver, a car and bike enthusiast, an art collector, a whiskey connoisseur and many other things. But above it all, he is an award-winning and celebrated architect. How does he do it all? Let's find out. Hello Kalpak, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So you, apart from being a celebrated architect, you're a mountaineer, you do scuba diving, you're an avid biker, you collect art, you're a whiskey connoisseur. Okay, so this question is really important. If you were not an architect, what would you have been?
I would have definitely joined the forces. That was something that I wanted to do since I was a kid. In fact, I also went for my entrance exam, but I don't know what happened, and then I was at the table, got my paper. I don't know. I just got up, walked out. That was it. Till then, I was so sure I wanted to join the forces.
So you sat down to give the paper, but you didn't give it?
I didn't.
Oh.
I was there for 5 minutes staring at the paper. Something went on in my mind, and I just got up. But till date, now if I had to join anything else or do something else, it would be the forces.
Oh wow, that's such a big shift from what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
How do you get the time to do all of this? You're not even just like do it for fun, you're an expert at certain activities. How do you get the time?
I was a very active person since school till about 1993. And when I joined architecture, suddenly all that took a back seat. Didn't realize that it was 15 odd years that I had done anything. In 2009, I went to study further to London, where again I was very active, because the lifestyle over there, you walk a lot,
right.
And then that felt good. I said, okay, now I need to get back to doing all those things that I used to do, which I've been good at. So yes, after the end of the course, I just happened to enter the North Face store, and I loved the stuff. I bought some trekking gear, not knowing that I would start trekking.
Right.
I came back, and then my brother-in-law calls me saying that I can't choose from the tri-climate jackets. Please choose one for me.
Okay.
Then I read about tri-climate jackets, and I was like, where are you heading? Me and him are very close. In fact, when we buy good clothes, we buy two sizes, one his size, one my size.
That's your brother-in-law?
My brother-in-law.
Wow, okay.
So he said, I'm going for a trek to Nepal. I said, then buy these two. He said, no, I have booked way back. I don't know if I can take you on board. I said, okay, don't buy any of them. We'll go next year.
Yeah, we'll go together, take me along.
So that's how my introduction to trekking was there. I went as a holiday.
Right.
And then realized that it is not one. So I actually suffered through the trek. I was told to give up and head back.
Oh.
But I said, no, let me push. So that was my introduction to trekking. Before that, I had not done a small single trek over here. But the first one that I did was Mount Annapurna, which was 17,000 feet.
Oh, that's a tough one for a first time.
14,500 to the base camp.
Okay.
But yeah, that gave me confidence that, okay, however hard it might be, I can do it.
In your daily routine, what is that one physical activity that you consciously, religiously do? Out of all of this?
Today also, I wake up at 4:15 nowadays. Earlier it was 5:15. Now it has come to 4:15, 4:30. So today also from 5 to 6:30 I was at the gym, got back home, got ready, rushed.
Right.
Broke a few lines to get on to the flight. Yeah, so it's the morning thing that I do religiously. I wake up early, work out till 7:30. That's the one thing that allows me to do a lot of things. If you have the fitness, it allows you to do so many things.
Time management basically also.
Yeah, so cycling is also part of it.
Okay.
Over the weekends, it's 100, 120 kilometers, 150 kilometers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't even imagine doing half of that. But it's really amazing that you are able to do all of this and have a profession and do all of this. Also, you have a lot to do with the name of the firm that you're currently working with. It's VCast, but loosely referred to as Vikas. So how did that name come about?
I had a whole list of names which I had jotted down when we decided to name our firm. Earlier, my father is an architect, so the practice was started by him in 1975. So people used to call Vikas Bhandari and Associates. When I joined, Kalpak Bhandari and Associates, and I used to hear different names. In 2014, we moved to our new office. The earlier office was a small one. This is a large one. So I said, now let's have a firm name. We never marketed ourselves. We never had a website. So I said, if you have to have all these, you need to have a firm name. So I said, okay, if he started it, it's all about him. Let's call it after him. So that's how it was called Vikas. His name is spelled as V-I-K-A-S,
Right.
but the firm name is V-E-E-K-S. My thought behind it was V-E-E or V-E means Vikas. V read as W-E means the team. K stands for Kalpak, A is architecture and studio. So Vikas
that's what it
Kalpak
is.
Architectural Studio.
Kalpak, I wanted to know that you're such an active person. Does that also delve into your design and architecture field? Because are there some projects that you really enjoy designing because you have such an active background? Do you think there's a connection there? Does it help you?
I don't know whether I've never thought about this.
Because I always find that with architects, they're artists. So the people that they are usually delves into the craft that they create. Do you enjoy designing for a stadium or maybe a sports center? Is that your passion project?
I've not done any of them till now, but I'm sure I think I would be good at it.
Of course you would be.
Because there are so many things that you come across when you are very active. You tend to go to these places, you observe, see them, you know the flaws, you know the good points. So I'm sure I'll be well informed to begin with.
Okay. Out of all the awards that you've won, the accolades that you've won, any one particular project that has been very close to your heart that you won an award for, or otherwise also, if not won an award, any passion project of yours that you've recently done?
All awards are encouraging. It's an acknowledgement of the effort and the thought process that you've put into it. One of the earlier awards that we won was for a very large urban center in Pune. It was a national competition. Yeah, I remember, and it was a two-stage competition. So I remember working on it for over 6 months, thinking about it endlessly, working tirelessly for nights and nights together, working till 2, 3 at night and heading back to office at 9 in the morning. And this went on for a very long time. If you keep thinking and working on a particular thing endlessly and tirelessly without feeling, that okay, it's enough, but there could be scope for improvement. I think to keep on going and improvising is important. So that particular award, that particular project, it involved thinking on the macro level as well as the very minute details. That's when we realized that okay, awards are not simple. All these things are important. Unless you go to that level of detailing and thought process and clarity, it's not easy to get them otherwise. So yeah, that was one of the earlier ones. And then of course each award, as I said, is encouraging. That gives us energy to push more and work more. Recently we won another national competition that was designed for the Satara Municipal Council building.
Okay.
Last 5 years, I think the construction industry has been slowing down.
In what respect do you mean?
The construction industry was not doing as great as it was doing earlier. There was a slowdown and started with demonetization, GST, all the new RERA, all the laws that came in together. And of course, each law had an effect. So yes, the market had slowed down slightly. So at this particular point, there were 188 entries across India for this particular competition, and some very established firms and names who had submitted their entries. So this is the one that we won last, which was last year. Yeah, so to have proven yourself again is very reassuring.
Right.
And I'm sure there will be other projects that we will compete for.
Absolutely, and I hope you win them also.
We are from Satara originally. We belong to that place. Of course, we've moved out of there into Pune. So there is an emotional attachment. The other opportunity I look at it is it's a government building. We've seen a lot of government buildings, but not all of them are good. Most
Right.
of them are not. So we look at it as an opportunity to show, or it's an image that the government building should have, which, you know, it's an attempt, it will be an attempt for us to showcase, and hopefully the government appreciates it.
Yeah.
And it sets a benchmark that, okay, all government buildings need to be of a certain level.
And they don't need to look like each other most of the time.
Yes, that's
Okay.
one, and they need to be, they should set examples.
Like they should be official looking, but yes, you can.
And they should set examples as to this is how buildings need to be. It's their job also.
Of course. Oh, that's very good thought behind that. I also wanted to ask you, Kalpak, about sustainability. Since you're such an outdoorsy person, you definitely love nature. We have read that about you. How important do you think sustainability is to the industry right now? And how do you incorporate it in your projects?
See, it is important, but a lot has been spoken about sustainability. I can definitely say that it is important, and each person needs to be conscious when they use energy and resources. But going to extremes of the green rating of buildings and all those things, a lot of things have been spoken. So where each building is assessed as an island, they say, okay, we've used this particular glass which rejects 90% heat and all those things, and they've made their building very energy efficient. But I think in terms of analyzing a particular building and giving ratings, they should also take into account what glass are you using, what is the energy that is used to make that glass. Have a component of that, and then assess in a holistic way, okay, you've used materials which have utilized basic energy to manufacture, and that's how it should be calculated, not as an island. All the materials that go into a building, each one should have a certain factor which should also be factored in. The present rating does not do that.
Okay.
While I say this, that's about the rating part. Sustainability part of it, yes, as I said, it is important to conserve as much energy, use all the natural resources that we have in abundance. India being a tropical country, we have abundant sunlight. So making use of it is very important rather than having dependence on electricity otherwise. It is important. The new glass buildings that we see across, so-called attempt to ape the West, I
Right.
particularly don't like that. You can use glass, but you should consciously use it on surfaces, on faces where the heat gain is not much. We see a lot of buildings with glass facades wherever, east, west, south,
Right.
then have expensive glasses to reject the heat, then have blinds inside,
Oh yeah.
and then have air conditioning, and then you say, okay, it's a green building because our air conditions are that efficient. So I find that pointless. We should rather use thicker walls, cavity walls, have fewer openings where the heat gain is there. So all those things are important. We do certainly think about it and incorporate that in our thought process.
Okay, so any current trends that, like you spoke about how people should use the materials that are pro sustainability, pro the environment. Any advice that you would like to give, and any current trends that you think are agreeable and should be maintained?
The meaning of the word trend means a general direction in where things are going.
Right.
Trends come and go. Bell bottoms came, went. Straight fitted trousers came, went.
True.
So trends, I would rather look at designing spaces or buildings or interiors or whatever which has a certain sense of timelessness to it. Of course, while I say that, does not mean that I am not open for newer things or whatever. Ultimately, you're also designing for the end user. I don't like to impose my likes and my taste onto a project because ultimately I'm not going to live there. I'm
Of
not going to
course.
use it the way the end user is going to. So, of course, it's a dialogue between the client and us. Timelessness makes a certain project stay relevant for a longer period. So that is important to us. So yeah, after a certain dialogue and deliberation, we agree on something. Not necessarily it follows any trend. Yeah, because a client could have different tastes than
Of
the
course.
trend. So could I. So trends keep coming and going. Timelessness is what we try to achieve.
So then I have to ask you this: what is your personal design statement like? If you had to design your own space,
changes, every person's thinking changes.
That's
My
true.
earlier projects were different. What I like now is different from what I have done in the past.
Like they say, a person's thinking changes every 7 years. That person
I
changes.
don't know about 7 or.
I mean, that's what they say.
I have realized my thinking has changed a lot in the past 3-4 years.
Okay.
Of course, then
Then you're getting towards the 7 years.
3 more years.
3 more years to go.
If I have
True.
to take that 7 years
Yeah, I
as
guess
a
so.
benchmark. I particularly am fond of very, very natural materials, rustic materials. So the wood of warmth can't be replaced by anything. The feel of natural stone can't be replaced by anything. So more natural is my taste. I think it's moving more towards fusion and eclectic and rather than plain Jane.
Okay. It used to be plain Jane, you're saying?
When I look at it, yeah, it used to be very simple.
Ah, okay.
Of course, I love simplicity. I am nothing against it. I love simple things. But now I've seen that shift in my work, which is moving towards a mixture of things.
And how have you seen the industry change since you started and now? Do you see some significant changes in the design and architecture industry?
There are different parameters. So the change is there. If you talk about architecture or even interiors, if you ask me, so executing a particular project in a shorter period of time has become important. When it comes to architecture, pre-engineered building, prefabricated components coming together and being assembled is important now and will become even more important. Economics governs that, availability of labor, the cost of labor, the reliability of labor. All these are factors which are going to play a very, very important role. They have been playing, but it's going to become even more critical in coming years. So yeah, we will have to look at ways to address these issues where a lot more time, planning and detailing has to be done initially to save on cost, time at a later date. So yeah, those things are going to change.
Okay, and do you think the pandemic has somehow contributed immensely to the changes? And have you brought about any changes in the way you look at projects now, your perspective? Or even the client?
Pandemic,
has the
I
client changed?
think the way I look at it has forced people to think about a lot of important things or a lot of things which they feel are important.
Right.
I think the pandemic has been a good thing in a way that people had that pause moment in their life.
Agreed.
Everyone has been just waking up, getting ready, going to work, working, coming back, not knowing why they are working.
Yeah. You put
And
it.
what is it that really they want to work on?
Yeah.
So I hope this has made a lot of people realize what is it that they really want to work on or would love to work on. And for me personally, it has been a good 4-5 months of introspection time. Many things became more clearer. Not that they were not clear, but the importance and emphasis has improved and increased. Easier for me to say, okay, this is not important. This could take a backseat. This very important. So in a way that has helped me personally.
And the client perspective?
I'm sure everyone to an extent has gone through this. I hope things have become clearer on their part. Clients nowadays don't demand so many meetings from us. That I have seen, and a lot of them are okay with online meetings.
Okay.
I think time efficiency and energy loss just traveling to and fro for 20 minutes meeting,
Right.
they have realized in a way. So I'm glad on that front. It saves us time. And of course, quite a few things they are ready to trust us to take calls. That shift definitely, I sense that in my practice and my clients' outlook.
Okay. Where do you see yourself and Vikas Studio in the next 5 years? What is your expansion strategy for the next 5 years?
5 years, okay. I haven't thought about it in terms of 5 years, but I know one thing for sure, that we definitely are more enthusiastic. We definitely are going to be doing more work, better work, more not just in quantum, but good work, and qualitatively improve our output. That I know for sure. 5 years, I don't know. I wake up each day, go do what I love doing to the best of my ability. Let's see where we go in 5 years.
That's a great. I feel like Kalpak, you're such a now person. You're like in the moment kind of a person.
Yeah, a lot of things which are planned don't really come into play. You keep planning and then you get disappointed. So I think take it in small steps. 1 week is still okay. You can.
Yes.
5 years, I don't know. A lot has changed, and we live in a world where change is the only constant.
True.
COVID has shown that okay, whatever your plans might be, they might not.
Might not work.
There could be things which will alter your plans. So I like to take it slow.
Okay, all right. If at work it gets too hectic or you want to take a break, what is the activity that you look forward to doing, like a release?
I head to the gym.
Head to the gym.
It's kind of I forget everything when I'm there. That's one thing. The other thing is be with few, 2, 3, 4, 5 friends of mine. That's about it. Trek, yes, but I can't go for trek every now and then.
You can't just.
Yeah, for me, treks are very, very meditative, where the phones don't work, signals are not there, you're in nature. The only sound that you hear is of the water gushing by and you're breathing. That's meditation. to
What
me.
a lovely
Yeah.
thought. Okay, so since you spoke about friends, I wanted to ask you how important do you think PR and marketing, and especially digital marketing, social media, is to the industry now? Although I have a feeling that it might not be so important to you.
It has never been important to me. Yes, of course. Fortunately, I had my father who started the practice, established himself. So I've really not felt the need to go out. But yes, it is important that whatever work you're doing should reach people. But I'm very bad at it.
Okay.
I will admit. So there are times when I feel like, okay, my staff keeps telling me, sir, why don't we post this? Why don't we have this? I said, okay, please do it. Show it to me and then you can do it for me. And then they come and then I say, okay, I'm doing something, show it to me later. And so yes, it's not been very important for me. I hope I improve or have someone do it for me. But I don't feel the urge to do it myself.
So Kalpak, you come from a background of architecture and design, family-wise also. Any advice you would like to give to all those students out there who are starting something new or they want to shift professions to architecture? Something that they should do and they shouldn't do to be successful in this field?
Shifting to architecture, I don't know, but I think they should figure out what they really like to do and then give it time and pursue it to the best of their ability, never give up. And one thing is that there are no shortcuts to success. One needs to tirelessly be at it to achieve something.
Right.
And of course, introspection is important. The more you do that, take 10 minutes of a day to analyze what did you do in that day. That is important. At times we don't realize the importance of it and we just keep working. But to analyze very rationally what is it that you've done is important. So yeah, just be at it, no shortcuts, work hard. That's the message I would say youngsters should take.
You're from Pune, the firm's in Pune, you're born and brought up there. The whole vibe of Pune is very different from the rest of Maharashtra. Do you think that somehow affects your approach towards a project, or do you get inspired?
When I go to Mumbai, I feel Pune people are more laid back. When I come to Delhi, I feel Pune people are very simple. So
I'm from Delhi, so I don't know what to think about that.
I
but
don't
yeah,
know
please.
what others think about Pune, but me particularly, I can't be rushed. In Mumbai, I can do 2 meetings at the most in a day, and I hate the commute but I love the energy in a way. When I see people doing so many things, able to do so many things, I feel, why don't I have that kind of energy? When I come to Delhi, I was like, hey, everyone's smartly dressed, why don't I dress smartly? But those are
You're dressed quite smartly.
But those are just moments, and when I'm back in Pune, I'm like, I like being myself.
Right.
I'm comfortable in my space. Nothing really intimidates me or makes me feel anything. It's just momentary reactions, and then I'm comfortable.
You feel like you're home.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Kalpak. It was so actually relaxing to speak to you. Every answer was so relaxed and calm, and I think that's your personality in general, which is
You
great.
would.
That's what I
You
gather.
could judge that.
That's what I gather.
I am just being myself.
Yes, I think it's a very calm persona that you have, and it was absolutely amazing to have you on this show, and I hope you had fun.
Absolutely. It was great talking to you.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So before we leave you, we have a very fun section, which is the
Okay.
rapid fire section.
Okay.
So I'm just going to throw two words at you, and you pick your pick out of those two words. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Let's do it.
you're always ready. You're ready for anything. Bring it on. Okay. So here we go. Contemporary or classic?
Classic.
Okay. Minimalistic or eclectic?
Both actually.
Both.
Yeah.
Now you're moving towards.
No, eclectic has its own charm.
Okay, all right. Work from home or go to office?
Office.
Office. Striking facade or striking interiors?
Both are important.
Both. Okay. Sustainability or durability?
If it's sustainable, it will be durable.
Yeah, actually, come to think of that, but yeah, you're right. I think I should remove that question. You just caught me there. Okay. Bright light or low light?
Low light in residences, bright light in offices.
Okay. Favorite work of architecture in your city, Pune?
Favorite work?
Be it Bombay, Pune, Delhi, any place that you really like that building or space.
The Pune has a couple of buildings from the olden times, the Vadas. Those really have their charm, but they are now in the core of the city where the surroundings don't do justice to them, so you don't really notice them. So I think somehow we need to address that where, the traditional architecture that we had gets its due importance. And conservation is very
Yeah.
important. A lot of times they are not well kept, but we are losing what we have as a heritage.
I agree with you. So if you
Yeah.
were given a chance to revamp it, you would?
I mean, I'm not the best person to do it, but I will pitch in whatever I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Favorite material to work with?
Wood.
Okay. Favorite concept to work with?
Least walls, least minimalism.
Minimalism. All right. Okay, you did very well apart from one question which was not so rapid, but I like the answer. It was really nice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Kalpak.
you.
It was an
Thank
absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I would now like to call upon Mr. Rajesh Bhandari, Director A-Class Marble, to get a memento signed by our guest. What I have learned from this amazing conversation with Mr. Kalpak Bhandari is that time management is the key, and then the world is your canvas. That's it for today. See you all in a fresh new episode of The Chat Trap with me, Pavleen Gujral. Till then, ciao.